Now we're going to look at finding an equation in standard form of a parabola that goes through those given points there. So what we have to remember is back to our quadratics, which were squared equations. So in standard form, that was y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. And when you're given those ordered pairs, just remember the first point is your x value and the second point or the second value given there is your y. So if we know the standard form and we have 3 points, we can plug in x and y into those spots in our equation, our standard form equation. So that's what we're going to do, and we're going to make 3 equations. So let's do that. So the first one, our y is 10. So we have 10 equals a times negative 3 squared plus b times negative 3 plus c. Our next ordered pair is negative 1, 0. So we have 0 equals a times negative 1 squared plus b times negative 1 plus c. And then our last ordered pair is 2 15. So we've got 15 equals a times 2 squared plus b times 2 plus c. So the only thing I'm going to do is rewrite these so that they look a little bit like what we were just doing. So with like the 10, the 0, and the 15 equal on the right, and I'm going to simplify the parentheses a little bit. So the first equation, negative 3 squared, becomes 9a minus 3b plus c equals 10. The second equation becomes 1a minus 1b plus c equals 0. And the last one will become 4a plus 2b plus c equals 15. Now for these, it's kind of nice because when you plug in your variables, or when you plug in your x and y, because c is always by itself, c is always going to be just c. It's always going to be plus c, plus c, plus c. So that's usually the variable that's easiest to eliminate here. But just like x, y, and z, we're going to do the same thing here. It's just we have a, b, c instead of x, y, z. So I'm going to eliminate my c variable. And we've got to solve for the variables first before we can write an equation. So let's just do this first one by negative 1. So that will become negative 9a plus 3b minus c equals negative 10. And we'll add it to that second equation. And then we can also, I'll just multiply this guy by negative 1 and then add it to that same equation. So let's see, negative 4a minus 2b minus c equals negative 15, and we'll add it to that second equation again. All right, so let's see, negative 9a plus 1a, so we get negative 8a plus 2b, c's go away, equals negative 10. And then over here we get negative 3a, negative 3b equals negative 15. We'll write those two guys on top of each other so that we have 2 equations with just 2 variables. Okay, so let's see. If we're trying to eliminate either A or B, let's probably maybe do B. So I'll multiply this guy by 3 to get B to be 6. and this equation by 2 to get b to be -6, or have that coefficient of -6. So our two new equations will be -24a plus 6b equals -30, and -6a minus 6b equals -30. Add up. So -30a, b's cancel, equals -60. So -60 divided by -30, we get a equals 2. Again, finding that first variable is the most work, but we have a now, so we can plug in that value into one of those equations with just two variables there in blue. So it doesn't matter which one. I'll just do the first one, -8a. So -8 times a, which is 2, plus 2b is what we're trying to find, equals -10. So that's -16. We'd add that over, then get 6 divided by 2. B is 30. And then we've got to plug in one more time. And actually, let's do it up here. So one of your original three equations with the three variables, just pick one to plug in your A and your B. So I'm just going to do the middle one. 1A minus 1B plus C. So 1A, so 1 times 2, what is B? 3. Minus 1 times 3 plus C is what we're trying to find, equals 0. So 2 minus 3 is -1. So C will equal 1. Okay, so we now know that our ordered triple, look, I'm all over the place on this page. We now know that our ordered triple is 2, 3, 1. So that is very important, but we still have to come up with this equation for the parabola. Okay, let me zoom everything in here and get a little more organized. Okay, so we've done our double elimination, we've got our A, B, and C, we've got our order triple. So the last thing to do is plug it into this standard form equation to get the equation of this specific parabola that actually goes through those three given points we had. So all we do is plug in 2, 3, and 1 into that standard form equation. So we plug only A, B, and C in. So y stays equals, what is A? We said 2. So 2x squared plus 3x plus 1. And if you guys wanted to check, you guys could type that into your calculator if you wanted, and you could go and make sure that after you type that in, like the y equals, that if you go to your table, those 3 points are in that table. If it is, that means this parabola goes through those 3 points. So it's just like finding x, y, and z, only you find A, B, and C and then plug it in to that standard form equation.